all, good morning. My name is Melanie Brown, and I am helping with Project Dream. I am on the board, um, thankfully, because of Michael and Alexis. And I'm going to keep it very short and sweet today, just because of some of the goals and objectives I had from high school. I kind of give you like an overview of that journey and just some advice. So, I went to UNA and I got my bachelor's in communication, and now I'm pursuing a master's in social work. I work at the Mental Health Association here in Decatur, so if you ever need volunteer hours or you just want to come and observe one day, if that's a field you're interested in, get my contact information from Alexis or Michael. But went to Decatur High School, graduated 2016, and really didn't know what I wanted to do. You guys probably have a lot more resources than my graduating class did. Everything came pretty much after we graduated, but my ACT score was okay. I got a 22, and I got into school. That's really, I didn't really try harder. I took what I had, and I got a scholarship, but went for my 4 years and graduated. So I got my job, and I'm doing adult things now. But my advice to you is please, as early as you can, start taking your standardized tests. If you're unfamiliar with your FAFSA, which of course you will learn through Project Dream, but make sure you're familiar with it too, especially if your family isn't familiar. I'm a first generation college student, so I had to learn a lot of that by myself and help my family help me figure it out. So I have to do a lot of that. Any scholarship, whether it's through your bank, high school, the college, externally, get as many as you can. They can go for books, your housing. College is really expensive, so if you have like a part-time job, save a little bit of money because you're going to want to go and have fun and not have to work full-time while you're in college. And just make sure you stay up with your hours. So when you go for orientation, they always say start out with 12, which is fine, maybe your first semester, but especially if you get a scholarship, make sure you know everything that applies because I got advised to take 12 hours for my first and second semester my first year, and I think usually you get advised twice, one in the spring and then one in the fall, to get your PIN or at least go to see your academic counselor. But if I wouldn't have went, you have to keep so many hours. I think it was like 30, 28 or 30, something around that. And then doing 12 and 12 per semester is not going to help you. It's going to actually, like, in the long run, you might spend an extra year or semester longer than you anticipated. So just be looking out for that. And again, like any questions you might have for me, I'm always willing to help. I've been helping some students from Austin High School that I know. So again, if you need any help with anything, and biggest overall take of it is when you get to school and maybe you're majoring in something, it's totally okay to switch, but I will always say, like, figure out what you're passionate about and figure out just like around the bases of it. Like, you don't want to really be a nurse, but you want to be involved in healthcare. Make sure you look at everything because you can go to healthcare administration, or if you're passionate about kids and you don't want to be a teacher, you can do social work. Just kind of know like what you're passionate about instead of just getting something generally and you don't really like it because spending 4 years, you did all this hard work, and then you get out of college and you just don't want to do it. But that's okay. Even if you do that, you can just go and get your master's or start your own business or do something like that. So that's all the advice I have for you guys. I hope you have fun. I'm sad I got to miss this session, but currently out of town. So thank you, Michael and Alexis. And anything else, if you guys need help filling out FAFSA or looking for scholarships, Alexis and Michael, of course. But if you need anything else, you want a shadow or something, I can be, someone to help you, or maybe you want to figure out which route you want to go after college, whether it's trade or something. Maybe I can help you out. So thank you guys.
All right, so a little bit about myself. Like I said, I went to East Orange High School, graduated in 2015. I played football. I was 2 years out in area, out county. Um, I went to Calhoun Community College for 2.5 years, graduated there, and transferred to Jacksonville State University. And there, I was involved on campus as in Gamecock Suites, where we worked football games, basketball games, um, baseball, and we just like serve like people that be in the suites and press box. I work with counseling centers, so I work with people, patients who want to have counseling, and I was involved in Alpha Kappa Psi. It's a business fraternity. It's one of the biggest business fraternities in the U.S. And I graduated JSU. Then that was last May, and so the year came around in September. I started with probation parole for the state of Alabama, and went to the Decatur Police Academy this January and graduated in April this year. And got certified as a state police officer and I'm a probation parole officer. So that's a little info about me. For really, I just want to encourage y'all just to keep going and don't give up on your dreams. One of my big mistakes in high school um, was not like taking it serious. I thought like, oh, I got family, I got friends, they could find themselves to me, and I waited too late. And when I went to Calhoun, I didn't know really what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an officer, but I didn't know how to take the appropriate steps to get there. And if I would have brainstormed in school and thought about what I wanted to do as a career, I think it would have went more smoothly than like trying to rush it and try to figure it out the last minute and be stressed about it, because you don't want to be stressed in school, because school already in college is already stressful. So being stressful and trying to worry what you want to do and how you want to do it, you just get there in high school. And like she said before me, go ahead and get your ACT done, um, look into the resources and networking. Networking is one of the biggest things I learned, because sometimes it's not even about what you know, what you know, it's who you know. So always network and meet people that can help you further you in your career, and maybe you can help others. And there was something else I had. Oh yeah, so it's a little story. Like you see my shirt say beat the odds. Those have a goal, have something in your head that you want to do. And my goal after high school and going to college was beat the odds. Nobody in my family, like none of my brothers, my sister, my mom and dad, have a bachelor's degree. I was the first one out of everybody and the youngest to accomplish this. So that was one of my goals, is to beat the odds, and I beat that. Um, so set you a goal, set you a milestone that you want to reach and keep going. Even if you reach it, find another milestone higher and keep going and keep reaching it until you get there. It's never, it's a big world. It's always something bigger you can amount to. And when I was in second grade, I believe, one of my teachers, she was like real tough on me, real tough on me for some reason. And she was trying to help me back that year. And my mom went to the school and she was like, "No, you ain't gonna hold my baby back. Don't, move him up. Like, he should try to help me back." And so she didn't believe in me. So as a young legit, I just kept going and kept moving, because people, try to, I don't want to say pray on your downfall, but try to discourage you. And you put in your mind that you discourage and not want to see to see the greatness. So I used that, and I finished, like I said, I graduated high school. And then not only that, when I graduated with honors. So she was trying to put me down here like I wasn't smart enough, but I pushed myself. I got tutors because I knew that I wanted to be great in life and successful. So I got tutors. I stay out of school and work. I think I had to do even summer school one time, just because I know I want to be successful and want to amount to things. And if it wasn't for me, you gotta have that push in you to keep going and keep fighting and make sure you want to be successful in life. So I'm pretty sure all y'all want to be successful, right? People always think, I don't want to make it sound bad, but you don't always have to go to college to be great in life. You could have a trade, like my nephew said, Dante said, he cut hair. You can always do something that you can be successful at going to school. personally, me, school was my reason because, like I said, I want to beat the odds. So if you're passionate about school and you think it's the right thing to do, and you think God put in your life, just keep going and do that. But if school not the option, then you can do, like you said, haircuts, cosmetology, welding. There's a lot of stuff you can do other than college education. But, just do what you think. And real estate also, because I'm thinking about doing real estate. And really that's it. I just want to encourage y'all to keep going, push forward, don't look back, reach the height that you can reach, keep going after it.
Starting in Florida, I wasn't too good of a person. I was doing things I wasn't too proud of. After 2 years, I didn't want to go to college. My football coach told me, hey, I don't want you to stay here. This isn't a good place for you. I know if you end up doing the same things that you're doing, you will get killed, put in jail, or worse. I decided to go to Florida. I decided to go to Minnesota. I was still active until I met Michael. Michael was just a pure soul, and he always told me, hey, bro, like, you gotta chill, like, do better for yourself. So I started hanging around him a lot more. When I started hanging around him, just weird things started happening in my life, like different kind of energy started coming my way, to the point where I didn't want to do all the stupid bad energy stuff anymore. It kind of just felt sick to me, just being around him. And that's like the first thing I want to say. When you go somewhere in life, make sure you put yourself around people that are of good energy, that are going to make sure that you are prosperous in life and that you build a higher foundation for yourself. I messed up right there, and I actually had to drop out of college because I was hanging around the bad folks. I actually went back to college a couple months back and got my AA, started working for an insurance company, and I'm doing pretty good for myself now. I'm pretty nervous, y'all. This is not my first time doing it, so please take your time with me. I remember when I was in high school, I was actually in jail, and that's when I found God, and that's when I started doing more things for myself, as in, taking care of my responsibilities. I wasn't taking care of my responsibilities. I was just a bad kid, like really bad. Like, imagine Pookie from the hood mixed with Mika from Alabama. That's what I was. I was just hood. I didn't care about anything. But dang, I'm nervous. Let's see, hold on. I'm so sorry, y'all. Yeah, there we go. So when I wasn't doing my responsibilities, I actually got kicked out of high school. I got kicked out of school online. And it's not it. It's really not it. You shouldn't be doing anything that you're not supposed to do. Oh, Mike, you kind of put me in a bad spot. Let me just relax, y'all. Relax. Let me take this off because I really want to tell y'all. All right, so forget about high school. I'm going to tell you about like through college and now, because that's when I started doing better for myself. So, like I said, when I met Michael, that good energy, I also had a good friend named CJ. He was a good example of letting people go so you can become a better person in life. Whenever you feel like something toxic, like family, friends, it's just not going your way, it's okay to let them go. You don't have to cut them off, but it's okay to let them go. Never let outside energy mess you up. If you feel like you want to be a technician or an engineer and they're like, you can't do that, why would you want to do that? You're going to fail yourself. Don't listen to them. Do what you want, because God made you for a purpose, for a strong purpose, and that's to change not only yourself, but the community around you. I hate when people try to only do for themselves and don't bring back for the community. Because if you bring back for the community, not only is it going to help your community, but it's going to help you tenfold. If you're that kind of person that's like, oh, I want to be a billionaire, or this, that, have a yacht, you won't be able to do that just by fending only for yourself. You have to fend for your community, because then the community also pays you in dividends and also in heart, if you guys get what I'm saying. when I stopped going to college and I met Michael, we still talked. We kind of fell out because, we got real busy. But a lot of things he said to me in college still stick to me to this day because he's been a good friend. Back to what I'm doing in my career. I'm not a good speaker, you guys. I'm sorry. But back to what I'm doing in my career, I actually, when I came back to Florida, I was washing cars for $200 a week. I didn't like that. I felt like the bummiest bum on the bummiest bum back. And now I'm making about $800 a day. $800 a day for sure. $800 a day. And I love it. I'm happy as hell. I can do whatever I want. I'm more, what's the word? I'm more open to more things, as in, like, if I was to stay in Florida, I wouldn't be able to have seen all those outside like experiences, and I would have still been the same person that I am today. Really, I just feel like the most important thing that I wish someone told me when I was younger is that you have to be open-minded and experience other things. Like me doing this, I wouldn't have did this years ago because I don't like talking to people. I don't like doing this, but I'm trying to open up. So I thank you guys for being patient with me because I'm a very nervous and anxious person. Whew. Can I keep it short? Like, is this it? Do you want me to say more? Does anybody have any questions? I feel like that'll be better if someone just asks me a question.
Yeah, do y'all have any questions for him?
Does anybody have a question?
Put it in the chat.
Okay, let me just take this off.
What does he do now?
Okay, so can you hear us now?
I can't, yes.
You can?
You say you can't.
You can? Can you hear us now?
I hear the mouse.
You hear the mouse?
I hear you.
Okay, so because we had you hooked up to the speaker, we weren't able to speak with you, but we were here with you the whole time. Thank you for your words. No, you're fine. That was beautiful. We do have some questions from our students sitting over here. So go ahead, y'all.
We do have one question. He said to explain like what you do now as far as your insurance company.
I work for United Healthcare. That's the #1 insurance company in the world. We have a $0 deductible. You guys don't know what that is, but a deductible is basically what you pay for, so you can get the benefits of the insurance. So we have a $0 deductible, which not a lot of places have. So the policy sells itself. Not only do I work for the insurance company, but I have multiple streams of income. That's one thing you guys do off beat. I wish someone told do that now. Find all your streams of income now, because by the time you're 25, you're going to be set. Although, don't listen to your family that's telling you, oh, when you're 65, that's when you're retired. No, because your life expectancy is to 70. So you tell me you're going to have 5 free years? No. Work as hard as you can now. Right now. I don't know how old you guys are, 18, 19, 16, 17. Do that now. Find different streams of income. I also trade, like my brother was saying, I also trade. I go to what do they call yard sales? I find things, I flip those. I try to do something with my money. I try to save it, and invest it. Don't just save it because the government printing it twice as fast. Yeah, I don't really do that much. I just sit there and talk to my clients. I basically try to do service onto others. If you do service onto others, it will come back to you. Any other questions?
What was the hardest part of transitioning from that environment that you were in to what you currently have now?
What was the hardest part of transitioning from the environment that you were in to the one that you're in now?
Mental fortitude. Like, nobody likes to change. Nobody likes to change. The hardest thing for me was to accept that you have to change every day in life. every day. Problems are not going to stop coming your way. I mean, I'm making good money, but you don't have money problems without money. If you get what I'm saying, like once you start making money, it's like more fucking. I'm sorry. More problems start to come your way, and it's so crazy. But you have to have that mental fortitude to say, "Hey, keep that smile on your face and keep pushing. Don't ever think about the bad things because you're gonna manifest the bad things. Manifest the good things, okay? Don't ever. You're gonna have your friends be like,
Tell you about the
"Girl, like
seeds,
you
okay?
there, right? Come on, my bro, like." You gotta do it. Don't listen to the outside crowd because that's what's gonna mess you up. That's what God put that energy and reason for a reason. And it's better to change and you work so hard to change and you finally get the outcome you were looking for than just someone giving it to you. Because you're not gonna be all happy. You're gonna break something that someone gives it to you. You're like, oh, it was free anyways. But if you break it and you was busting your butt to get that, you're gonna be like, man, like I worked my butt to get that and it's broken out. You get what I'm saying? So the hardest thing is just to change. But when you change, it's like you're a whole different person. Michael can tell you right now, I used to be 280 pounds fat, 38. And I decided to change my mental game so my physical, emotional, financial self can floss, prosper, just flourish. So yeah, the hardest part is just the mental, nothing else. Life is a mental game. You have to get mentally strong. Read your books, learn vocabs. These are things I'm not just saying, do it. Actually like sit down, do math problems, because in life you're gonna have to learn how to think fast, think critically. Any other questions? And I do apologize for cursing. I'm really trying. I'm really trying to learn how to stop. How to be more professional.
Oh, touch screen. Okay, Rickle.
Oh, any other questions? No. No more questions. Whoa. Let me plug it back in.
We making it work, y'all.
Never be scared. Never be scared to say what you want to say. If you raise your hand, you put it down, you never know. You could have been the person that had $1 million question or $1 million idea, but you were so scared to say it, somebody else took your thunder that quick. I remember when I was in the office and my boss, rich billionaire, he asked the question. I knew the answer to the question. The other guy wasn't studying as hard as I was. It was because I mumbled it under my breath and he heard me. He won $10,000. That's because I was scared to shout out like, I was like, damn, what if I'm wrong? It don't matter unless he's seeing that you were, doing the homework and doing the work. Never be scared to put yourself out there. Also for what you want. If you know that you put the work in, do that. I could have been $10,000 up, but because I was scared to say what I wanted to say, I lost it. Another thing, what was it? I go by this quote. I actually have it on my spine. It goes, how do I forget that too? Those who wait, you know that those who wait, get it, but those who hustle get it faster. You know what I'm saying? Like let's say I'm eating a sandwich and I'm eating it. I'm the hustler eating the sandwich. Everybody that's waiting is just waiting for the crumbs on the floor. So make sure that you chase everything and you go big for everything you do. Don't be scared to say whatever you want to say. All right. Any other questions?
Questions? No more questions for you, Brandon. Can you hear me? Can you still hear me? Another great speaker, friend of mine, Brandon Williams. Glad you shared your story. You provided some good information for everybody, not just the students, but our volunteers as well. I just wish you more luck. Wish you the best of luck in the rest of your career path. We will keep in touch. I'll probably have you speak again someday. So everybody give it up for Brandon.
Okay, hi, my name is Shakia Baker. I'm from Decatur. I'm from University of Alabama. I'm kind of nervous to talk to. I told Alexis this last night and this morning. But okay, I'm just gonna go off with my little notes or whatever. So my journey of getting to college was something that was very last minute and something that I never really thought about. You just kind of like go through the motions in terms of like, you know, from your earliest memory, like you're put in school, and then like for me personally, like having no one else in my school, like, or in my family go to college, like graduating high school, like that is like, that's the ceiling. It's like you work towards graduating high school, like that's your big moment. Then you start your life. So I had never been in an environment really where I even thought about college or thought that it was something like for me, like since I'm a first generation student, my only real knowledge of like college and stuff was what I saw in TV shows and like movies. Like I didn't know, like that's why when, you know, even leading up to me being in my senior year, I have friends who have been taking the ACT like on and off since like they were freshmen in high school, or they'll be like, oh, I'm doing tutoring and stuff, you know, all things that get you ahead that I had no idea about, I had no access to really. And so I really like senior year, you're pretty much done with high school, you know, your classes are pretty much just like they're trying to gear you towards college, but for the most part, it's like it was my most chill year of high school. And I never really thought about like in great detail about college. Like I knew that was usually what people do after, but I had really into doing so. I remember the first day of senior year for me, like we all were going around the room. It's like, oh, what are you doing after high school? Like, where are you going? What are you going to major in? And I was like, wow, I really haven't thought about it. I threw out a random college they're not at. I don't even know if I said a major, and if it were, like, it definitely wasn't political science, which is my current major. But I just said it. It's just words at that point. I didn't know like what steps to take towards it or anything like that. It was only because of like the people that I was friends with, you know, like I was in like AP classes and like honors classes. I am not a genius at all. I don't want anyone to think like, oh, well, you're really smart. I will say that's all a product of them offering that only to like a certain select eat and like actively ask. And most of the time, if you ask, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, like it's available to everyone," but you do have to inquire a little bit about it if you're not their focus group of who they're offering those classes and types of things to. And like AP classes, if you like think you're smart in certain subjects, like if you're really good at history, but you don't like all you know is that you have to pay to be in an AP class, like if you like I'm poor. I'm very poor. Real poor. So it's like I qualified for my classes to be taken or paid for. And so did like any of the other AP classes I took. Also, I got to take the ACT for free like 2 separate times outside of school because of like my family income and stuff. So those are all things you should look into. Like once you're looking towards like, okay, I think I might want to go to college or might want to set myself up because I've been prepared to be, or like even like my biggest recommendation though, like don't take AP classes. The 10-point bump, it sounds crazy. It sounds like, oh my gosh, take dual enrollment. Whatever university, big or small, that you go to, they will take it. You have just skipped like at least like 2 semesters, which is like pretty much your freshman year of like gen eds. But anyways, I didn't really start applying to places and looking at places until like my friends were like all of my friends that I hung out in high school with, that I played soccer with, that I was on student council with, etc. Like they were all like from generations and generations, like 5th generation Auburn grad families or like Alabama grad families. And so like this was just like routine for them. They're like, oh, like it's right here, it's right there. And I still didn't really know what I was doing, but I was like, like I guess I'll start applying too, because that's what the people around me are doing. But even because again, the only knowledge I have of this idea of college is from like movies and TV shows. And the ways that like it's portrayed in media, like movies and TV shows, it seems like, one, you have to be a genius. That was one of the biggest things I was worried about. I was like, what if I'm not that smart? Like, what if I can't do the schoolwork that's offered in college? So one, I thought that you had to be like a near genius, 36 type thing on the ACT. And the way that it's portrayed in like movies and TV shows, most of the time it's usually for dramatic effect, but still like a lot of the times when you see them on shows and stuff, like they're always getting rejected from schools. So I'm sitting here thinking, why do I hate rejection? I have very bad anxiety. Alexis can tell you that. So I'm sitting here thinking like, why am I gonna apply to these schools? Like I don't think I'm like too extraordinarily smart. Like why am I gonna apply to these like fear of like being rejected, etc. Like kept me from applying for so long. And it wasn't until I didn't even apply to this one school like at all. But one day in the mail, I just got like an acceptance package from this this university called Murray State in Kentucky. And I was like, I've literally never heard of the school. I've never applied. And your senior year, you'll get like a lot of things like that. Sometimes you just automatically qualify for going to certain schools solely based on your ACT score. And so but that was the confidence that I needed kind of to tell me like, okay, like I didn't even try to get into the school, or I didn't even apply to get into the school, but I got in. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start applying to schools. So I applied to, first of all, I've grown up in Alabama fan my entire life. Like Alexis can attest to this. Like we're growing up like in life, my longest friend. She knows like we wear our little matching graphic Alabama shirts, like to watch the game in her living room and like little things like that. And she'd go to the game sometimes, and I'd live through her because I was poor. So I was like, have fun for me too. And so I applied to Troy, and then I was like debating back and forth of whether or not I'd even apply to Bama. Because once I got into Troy again, like I was so discouraged and thinking I wasn't going to get into any of these schools. Like my first little acceptance, I'm like, okay, this is where I'm going then, because I didn't even think I would get in. So I got into Troy and I was like, okay, I'm pretty much going to go to Troy. And then I was thinking about it and I was like, there's no harm in applying to schools like Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Mississippi State waives out of state Jewish, Alabama and state prices. So I was thinking about like pretty much all the like big SEC schools, and but Alabama obviously has always been my dream school. Grew up in this environment and tradition of like Roll Tide, like all that other stuff. Like we're like the slogan of the University of Alabama is like where legends are made and whatnot. And so like I applied to Bama, and that was my quickest turnaround. Granted, Alabama is a bigger school. But that was my quickest turnaround of acceptance. Like, so I waited really late to apply. I applied in January, and I got my acceptance like 5 days later. And once I got my acceptance to Bama, I was like, okay, for sure. This I know I said this about the last school, but this is for sure where I want to go. And again, like Alexis said, I'm out of the mud for real. Like Alexis can tell you because she ended up breaking this phone. She knocked it out of my hand. But I had
She
this
didn't get a phone until she was like a senior.
like Android phone. Nothing wrong with Androids, but like when they give you they're like, this is the cheapest phone we have. Like I was like, well, I'm gonna take it because I need a phone. I had this little Android. Half the time at my house, we didn't even have Wi-Fi. Alexis can tell you, I'd sit in the kitchen, which was the closest to her house. Sometimes I just still our Wi-Fi. But I applied for Bama, for financial aid, my roommate application, all of that stuff, my student loans that are paying for my school and whatnot. I did all of that from my little 4-inch Android screen. It was a process, and Google was literally my best friend. Again, me being first generation, no one else around me knows knows, like, that anyway, like, you want to keep it with those kids, like, you know, like, I'm not gonna ask for anything more than that. So, as I'm going through the application process, it's like, okay, like, you get in, that's the easy part, like, your acceptance is the easy part. Then it's like, okay, this price breakdown, like, how am I gonna pay for this or deposit for this? And like, every single question that I had, I would Google, like, what is financial aid? Like, what do I need? What documents do I need for financial aid? Like, opening one tab, seeing this, and then I'm going back and like, okay, this, and that. Like, you know, it was a process. Even getting like information from my mom, like, what's my social security number? Like, you know, I had to do a lot of it myself. Like, before you go to college, you have to like obtain your immunization records, which are like vaccines that you've gotten. And I promise, it like when I looked at it, I was like, what is this? But all these vaccines for like even 10, a bunch of stuff. But I was determined, and I was like, you know what? Again, the people that I hung out with, they were more fortunate than me, but I'm kind of thankful for, even though I felt like embarrassed and like I wasn't good enough in those situations. Now that I'm older, I'm thankful for it, because I'm like, that pushed me to put myself in the same like starting point as them. Like, obviously it's easier for them financially, like they have help, etc. But hanging around them kind of pushed me to be like, I won't be left out. Like, just because I'm poor, that doesn't mean anything. I'm still going to college, and I'll be right there with you. A different journey, but I'll be there too. So yeah. Okay, so that was me getting to college, etc. Alexis knows that summer before, it was a hard one. And it was one where I was like, okay, this city, like, I'm miserable here. I don't like, I was getting very overwhelmed, whatever, but I went through to college at least. I will say in high school as well, like, use your resources. Yes, I think that all high schools, I went to Decatur High, like, could do better at, you know, making knowledge of like FAFSA and all that other stuff readily accessible to people who aren't, who don't come from like a family of college education, because I didn't know anything. Again, that's why Google was my best friend. But I would say, if you have some free time, if you're even thinking about college or dual enrollment or anything like that, like, I don't know if Mr. Fouché is still at Decatur High, to go to Decatur, but he was great. I went to him a lot, and he's someone who like they like wait for kids to come in and tell you. So like, if you say, hey, I'm kind of curious about it, like, they'll load you up on information, pamphlets, like a lot to like get you. Okay, so me in college, getting to Bama, it felt good, because I felt like growing up, I always had the burden of like, I'm poor, like I'm this, I'm that. But, you know, going to that school, it was like an eye opener for me, because Bama has like, it's like 60% of out of state kids, and then like 40% Alabama. So I've grown up with a certain mindset of Decatur, which is a very small town mindset, you know, thinking and feeling certain ways. And it was just like a culture shock in a good way to like see that, again, the world is bigger than Decatur. Like, there's people from all walks of life who like understand you, like make you feel comfortable, like are similar to you, that you felt like, you know, that one thing you felt like you could never relate to anyone about, you can relate to them about, etc. It was like a big pull. Like, I fell in love with the school. I think everyone should at least try to venture out. I'm not saying that, you know, Decatur is a bad place to settle in, but I think it is eye-opening to get away from it, no matter what the circumstances are, whether you choose to go to college or not. But yeah, one of the biggest things that I will say, like, as soon as you get into college, GPA. Your GPA is so, so, so important. And your freshman year, that will be your easiest classes that you will ever take in college. Your freshman year and like, you know, part of your sophomore year, you're pretty much just doing gen eds, which is general education classes, which is literally just a repeat of like your like like some of your senior level like science classes and whatnot. I literally just was doing this like last semester in school, or I just finished this up. And that's when like it's the freshest on your mind. It's not like you're learning a completely new concept. My biggest point is like strive for a 4.0 your freshman year. You will thank yourself for it later when you're taking like 400 and 500 level classes. Like your general eds are like 100 level classes. And then like each level goes up and it gets harder. Because I know personally, like my freshman year, I was just so happy to make it out of Decatur in my circumstances. I was like, I'm ready. Like I'm so like hyped to go to school or be in class and like make the grades. And again, my work was the easiest that it's ever been since I've been in college. So I recommend like really focusing. I get it. No matter if you go to a bigger school or smaller school, like it's so lost in like oh, I'm out on my own. I don't have any parents to report to right now, or like, you know, drinking and other things like that. Like it is so easy, especially at this school. At this school, it being such a big school, I'm friends with so many people. I've seen so many people who have to drop out, whether it's because of grades or like they start partying too much, their parents make them come home. Like that first year, especially, focus. Like your classes are easy, you have the most help. Like focus, because I was on like Dean's List my freshman year, which is like a 3.5 and higher. So I think I had like a 3.6, 3.7 after my freshman year. And I am so glad that I have that cushion, because I know there was like my sophomore year, first semester, I was going through a lot of things at the same time. Like mentally, I experienced death in family the first time, like a lot of things that were like very overwhelming, and it kind of like put me into a depression. So I wasn't, you know, trying as hard with my classes, and I, you know, dropped the ball a little bit that semester. But the only thing that kept me afloat and like didn't completely like just tank my GPA is the fact that like I had like a little wiggle room with like building my GPA my freshman year. So yeah, GPA is so important. It's easy to get discouraged about it, but the harder your classes get, and be like, oh, like I'll settle for the C, like etc. I promise you, like just spend a little bit more time like in the library or in a study group, whatever your like the best way you can study is, and it'll set you up like on the right path in terms of being in school and whatnot. Use your resources, I would say. In college, like it's harder to find, but you have resources in terms of like if you're going through it, you have, I know at Bama, like if you're a student, you're offered free therapy. Therapy is very important, mental health is very important. If neglected, it can start to like weigh you down, like and physically affect you, and like it can affect things like your grades and whatnot. Like he said, it's never too early to start learning about financial literacy. While you're in college, you should look at things like building your credit or even knowing what credit is. The easiest way to build your credit, you have to be very responsible with it though, is like when you are in college, they offer things like credit cards, but for students, and it helps you really build your credit. I had one for like a year, and after like 2 or 3 months of like actively staying up to date with my stuff, but I already have 700 something credits for. Let's see. Okay. So one or a few things I wish I knew before I was 18. You don't have to have everything like figured out just because you're like reaching this milestone of like, oh, I'm like graduating high school. For me, that was like the limit. Like you, like in my family, it's like you graduate high school, like you're into the world, you've done what you can do, your path is your own now. You don't have to have everything figured out. If you're going to school, you know, orientation, all that other stuff, you're like, oh, what's your major? Like I had people in high school being like, what are you majoring in? And I'm like, I don't even know what there is to major in. You don't have to have any of that figured out. I'm 22. And besides the fact I know what my major is, there's still a lot that I don't have figured out. The world is a lot bigger than Decatur. Like the end of art, you are like you're meant for great things. Don't let whatever, you know, mindset or threshold that's been set on you from Decatur like hold you back. And I'm gonna end on my favorite quote. Alexis knows this is my favorite quote of all time. It was actually my senior quote when I in high school or whatever. But it's from my like favorite book in the world. It's called The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and it says that I guess we are who we are for a lot of reasons, and maybe we'll never know most of them. But even if we don't have the power to choose where we come from, we can still choose where we can go from there. That was like my biggest thing. I always felt so burdened because it's like I'm poor, like I have like a rough background, or like, you know, all of these other things that I thought I would never be where I am now. But you born in what like social economic status you're born in. But I think that you should never let anything hold you back. Your mindset is your most powerful weapon that you can have. You don't have to have like the nicest cars or the nicest house. Like if you are determined, like if it's a mindset thing, like everything else will follow. And yeah, that's it for me.
For Brandon, I'm going to do the same for Shakia again. Like I said, I've seen her go through a lot of things, and for her to be where she's at now, the senior in college means a lot. So if y'all need to reach out to her, she's a political science major right now, and figuring out what that looks like for her after college. If y'all want her contact information, feel free to reach out to me. But thank you. That was great.
Friend Ken Owens, he's gonna talk a little bit about his life and his career path as he's going. So Ken, if you want to come over.
From Hillsboro, Alabama, so even smaller town than Decatur. But I lived in Decatur a little bit, like I guess from 13 to 18, I lived kind of back and forth. So my pathway into adulthood. So I graduated from East Lawrence High School, you know, go Eagles, whatever. And you know, when I was walking across that stage in high school, I was really like, man, I ain't trying to be a farmer or something like that. Because, you know, I come from the country. If you want to be a farmer, then just go start farming. Right? My granddad was a farmer. But I just knew I wanted something different. You know, both of my parents, straight out of high school, they went to go work in plants. And I was just like, man, you know, can I do something different? Can I try to do something different? So straight out of high school, I went to school for music business in Orlando, Florida. So first chance I got to get up out of here, I was like, yeah, right. That was my way to get out, was going to college. And you know, I majored in music business. Like I said, it was an accelerated program. So it was throwing an 18-year-old into like 2 years of just, you know, we didn't have like a summer break or anything like that. It was straight up like 2 years, you there every month. You know, typical college students, they get summer break. We didn't get that. So I was able to get done with school a little bit faster. I graduated at like 20, but I was still, honestly, I was still 20 and like, okay, what now? You know? So it's really a journey, man. I'm just trying to use this as a guideline. I would say, did anybody encourage me to go to college? Not really. Like my parents didn't like say, "Oh, you know, you need to go to college or you're not going to be successful." It was just what I seen that I could do to get me to the next level, so I chose to do it. And I think that even after college, like I said, I still didn't know necessarily how that education applied to what I was trying to do. Because at the end of the day, you know, I'm an artist, right? So when I was in high school, I just remember seeing interviews of different artists and them talking about how bad their contracts were. So I was like, okay, like I like the music, right? But I don't want to end up in a bad contract, so let me go try to educate myself on what contracts will look like so that I'll never end up in a bad deal if that were to happen. But I think, as you grow and as you get older, things just change, your desires change. So now, you know, in the journey of just me being in college and being out of college, I was trying different things. I started a label, I signed an artist, using a music business degree to kind of help with that. Realized I didn't want to do that, so I closed that business. I'm like, I don't want to manage artists type of thing. So if anything, if you can get anything from me, like you just gotta really embrace it. It's a journey, and you ain't gotta have it all figured out today or tomorrow or next week or the month after. Like it's your dreams are going to evolve, transform over time. You'll set your sights on newer heights as you graduate from each stage of life. But hey man, just embrace it and don't be afraid to reach out to people, to help get you to the next level. And also don't sleep on the people that's already in your network. I was afforded the opportunity to go tour the US a couple different times, but one time as an artist, I did it as an artist, as a performer. And that opportunity came from, somebody that was in Hillsborough, Alabama, because they knew somebody that knew somebody. And that opportunity came from me giving honor to the people that were in my life currently, and not being like, you know, being like, oh, you're not worth anything because you're from this place. But again, the doors can open up even with the network that you have now. So tapping into your network currently, that's going to open up. Like I said, that afforded me to go on tour, meet more people, and it's still been a ride even after that. I met people that did tours, and I started helping on like just like an operational level on touring. Instead of being an artist, I was supporting other artists. I was making sure the stage was right. I was making sure that their merch sales was doing well when they was on the road. So I started helping in that way. Then that turned into us doing stores for artists, doing e-commerce stores. That's my wife back there. We doing stores for artists, helping them. What happened when COVID happened? People not going on tour, right? So it's like that's just a picture of how life is. Like it's gonna be things that are unexpected. You may go to college and you hate it. I mean, that's the reality. You may despise it after your freshman year. You're like, you know what, I'm gonna get out of here. That's the realities. But in my personal opinion, I don't think it makes or break you if you go to college or not, or if you stay in school or not. That's me. Because I feel like you can at the end of the day, you waking up every single morning and you gotta decide who you want to be, right? And you can only deal with the tools that you have. The college is a tool that you can have, that you have the opportunity to have, then seize it. Like take that mug, use it as a tool to get you where you're trying to go. If it's not a tool that you're able to utilize, then don't think that you're out, like you're done. The good thing about our generation is that we have the internet. So if you want to educate yourself on something, whether it's a trade or it's marketing, if it's sales, whatever, you can figure that out. Unless you're in a very particular, unless you're going for a particular career track, a lot of things you can just learn hands-on by experience. Obviously, if you want to be a doctor, I ain't going to no doctor that learn on YouTube. You know what I mean? I ain't going to that doctor, right? So it's some stuff, if you certain career tracks you got to choose, what best tools to get you there. Let me see what else. I'll go on 10. So let's see, on 20. And the last thing is just one thing I wish I knew before I turned 18. So I told myself that I was going to be a millionaire at 24. When I was 18, I was like, I'm gonna be a millionaire. I don't care what happened. That didn't happen, right? And it's okay. Like, you know, if you're shooting for the moon and you get a couple stars, hey, it's still a win. You still gonna learn some things. And it ain't over till that last heartbeat. You know what I mean? So you can still continue to go for your dreams. I think a lot of the successful people that I've met over the years, people making six figures, people that are millionaires, they embrace the journey. Like a lot of these people that's really in their field in a top tier, they didn't even start until they was like 40. Like we know somebody that shoot high tier music videos in Central Florida. He was working in a call center up until what, like 40? He was working at a call center until he was 40. And then he started shooting videos at 40. He like 55 now, 10, 15 years in the business. And he charged $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 for a video. But he didn't start until he was 40. So I think it's a lot of pressure that's on 18-year-olds. And even me, I'm 27. I still feel like I'm 18. Honestly, it don't even matter. Like, it's really no rules to this. Like, y'all being 18 can surpass somebody at 35. Somebody at 35, 40 can surpass somebody that's been in the business 30 years. It really don't matter. It's really honing in on what you want to do. Just waking up every day and being diligent. And whether that's class or that's, getting better at your field, just show up, be diligent, don't make excuses and take time to, like the last speaker said, mental health is important. Take time to take time. But yeah, that's what I got. Hopefully it helped.
Our link on here is about to end, so
Okay.
I'm sending them a new one. But feel free, y'all ask questions while.
Because I'll talk forever. So I mean, I'll just.
I got no questions for him. His music career, nothing.
Well, I got questions for y'all. If y'all ain't got
Oh, there
questions
we go.
So what do you like to do? What do you think you want to do?
I'm thinking about doing something in the technology field, something forensics, either that or being an elementary school.
Talk to Joe. Joe back to criminology. What about you?
I always wanted to work in the FBI. But recently, I actually just changed it. Like out of nowhere, I started reading a book. And it started getting me to like, I don't know, I started reading this like self-development book. And so I'm thinking about being a writer now. And, like, I always wanted to write my own book like about my life, but that's like down the line. But now I'm like talking to publishers to write my own poetry book. I said before I turned 18, but I turned 18 in October, so everybody was like, don't rush it.
Right.
Rush work is not going to be your best work. So I'm going to say definitely before I turn 21, but I think I can do it before then too. Try to do that. It's probably going to change by the time we get 21 about what I want to do, what I want to make.
It's fine. Keep changing. Keep changing. What about you?
Honestly, I don't know what I want to go to college for, but right now, I take care of Harvard. So I'm going to run at Drake State right now, so I'm planning to finish out Drake State after I graduate. After that, probably go to California, some small college. Just keep my basics or try to find like a business field, just to have like a business field.
Are you back there? Or are you? Yeah, all right. We all look young in here. I got an adult. What about, the link is not on no more?
No, it's not, unfortunately.
It's okay.
We are working
Well,
on it.
man, well, shoot. Let's go for it, honestly. And that's all I can tell y'all. Like a lot of stuff, like if I just went from left to right, like getting an LLC, I think for you, getting business credit to help fund whatever you're trying to do. If you wanna, a shop, you wanna rent out a spot, or if you wanna figure out how to utilize credit to buy a spot, whatever, figure out what it is to run a shop. I think it's a lot of like independent business people that you could learn from even now. Just going on YouTube, how to start a barber shop, how to set up my LLC. Just a lot of stuff. One thing, even for everybody, I think don't sleep on platforms like LinkedIn. It's the ugliest social media everybody don't even pay attention to. But a lot of these big corporations, that's what they use. I mean, if it's the FBI, if it's people that work at publishing companies, even small business owners, barbershops, people that I don't know necessarily what companies are in residence, but schools on both sides, like you can literally go on LinkedIn, search whatever school, whatever business, and you can look at all the information and you can add them. You can literally send a referral request and say, hey, I'm a barber right now. I want to talk to you about how you started your business. Usually, if you, especially in y'all's age demographic now, you 18 to 20, you're talking to somebody 25, 30, 35, 40, they gonna help. If you just want to have a conversation, they will literally have a conversation with you, right? Like it's that easy. We have the internet, so just don't be afraid to reach out to people. You may want to reach out to a principal. Y'all may want to reach out to the director of whatever at whatever company. But do your research and see whatever career track you're going for. I mean, what does it look like 10 years from now? What position is there right now? And just reach out to them via LinkedIn. Literally, hey, my name is Michelle. I seen that you've been a principal for 10 years. So you mind hopping on a call real quick? I just want to pick your brain. They will literally do it. Somebody did it to me and they wanted to know something, they would do it. That's how my wife back there got an opportunity with the film company. It was Instagram, right? It wasn't even LinkedIn, it was Instagram. She just said, hey, I wanna, well, I don't want to put out the words in about. He said something like, I wanna see if I can help y'all do, if y'all need help on set or something like that. And it happened, and that's like family now. So a lot of times you're a message away from getting the opportunity you want. A lot of people don't even do that. So it's just opportunities on the table that's not seized, and y'all can be the people that seize it. That's all I have.
All right, thank you so much.
All right, awesome. Another awesome presentation, Ken. Yeah, just a little bit about his journey. Like, I really don't know too much about his personal life before today, but just trying to kind of seeing like after what he talked about, like it was just an amazing journey that he went on. And he just kept striving through instead of being discouraged and like thinking what other people thought. He just went on his own path and being himself. So
we're gonna take a break, go ahead and get pizza, and then we'll have another speaker. We're gonna talk more in detail about y'all's 5-year plan, because I think that's very important, even for the people in the back. Like, I'm big on planning ahead. Like, even if it doesn't go according to plan, like have one, because at least you can like look back and be like, okay, I have goals in life. Born and raised in Decatur, Alabama, on the east side of town, child since 2006. Let's see, where do I want to start? Had a single mom growing up, she did everything. You're fine. His album playing in the background. No, you're okay. But I had a single mom growing up, and she just always like instilled in me like, be independent, like chase your goals, and like do what you need to do to get to the place you want to be in life. And so that's what I did. Fortunately, she did try to get me involved. Shout out to D.R.E.A.M, shout out to Ms. White. I went through the programs. I did like summer camp. I remember Camp Safe Haven. And then after that, I got my first job through D.R.E.A.M working as a kids camp counselor at Fort Decatur. Yes, for 2 years. My first year was a junior counselor. They liked me so much they asked me to come back and work next year as a senior counselor. Okay, so that was really fun. I love kids. In 7th grade, we did a little project at school, and it was basically like, what do you want to do in life? Like, it was basically telling you to make your 10-year plan. I was like, yo, I'm in 7th grade. Like, don't ask me that, you know. But I figured it out. I was like, I like people, and I'm good at helping people with their problems. So I found out about psychology. I'd never heard that word before, and I found it in 7th grade. So I was like, okay, cool. And I just stuck with that until now, and I'm still doing that. I'll get into that a little later. But high school happened. I was super duper involved. I was cheerleader. I was like in all these organizations, either president or like involved in them, just because like I knew I like to be a leader and I like for people to hear my voice. And I like to help others. Like that's genuinely who I am, helping other people find their path as I continue to find my own. And so that like helped me get to my senior year. And then senior year, I was like, I'm going to Florida State University. Like, that's where I want to go. And then I realized by the time I graduate, it's going to be $100,000. And I was like, me and mom ain't got that. So I'm not going to put me and my mom in debt. That's just what my thoughts were. So I settled for the University of Southern Mississippi, which I was like, it's just a state over. I'm still in the South. Like, I've always been very much, I want to explore the world. Like, I love Decatur, but I also wanted to explore the world. And so I was like, okay, I'll go to Mississippi, whatever. And I went, and it was all right. My freshman year, I'm going to be honest, it was terrible. By the end of freshman year, I was ready to go. I was like, I'm going to get to Florida State somehow, some way. Like, I can't stay here. But due to my decisions and my circumstances, I was actually stuck in that city because life wants to be bad. And so I just like learned from several lessons from 18 to 20, like about what being bad looks like, and don't get involved with the law, you know. But so I had to spend the summer there in Hattiesburg. I didn't really want to tell my mom what was going on because I was like, she's gonna like be so ashamed or embarrassed of me. So I was just like, okay, I'm by myself. I'm gonna figure it out on my own. So I had just, I just stopped my job at Cookout. I worked at Cookout when it first came out. Yup, Dante, I worked at Cookout, just like you. I was cashier, and then I think the manager, he was talking to me crazy. That's another thing. I don't let anyone disrespect me, like to a certain extent. Like if I'm in a job, if I'm not happy there anymore, I'm going to leave. And that's something else I learned in Decatur. I worked at Crystal's. That was my first job after the kids camp as a 16-year-old. And there, I just realized it was a bunch of adults working there. And I was like, yo, y'all all hate your life. Like, you're 40 and you hate your life. Like, I was just looking at them like, I will not do that. Like, so the manager, she loved her life and she loved working there. So I was like, I'm going to be like Miss Becky. Whatever I do, I'm going to put my passion into it and love it. But the rest of y'all, that's, no, not for me. So again, I Cookout, the manager's talking me crazy. I'm like, you're not going to talk to me like that. I peaced out. Didn't have a job in between for like a month. And it's about to be summertime. So I just started working at a country club. I was trying to like get some money up. Again, I didn't want to tell my mom what happened, so I'm like trying to afford my own rent. It was like I was staying at like some Christian place, so they paid for half your rent, and it was just a house with like some other women and stuff. It was cool, but it was like $300 a month, y'all. That's nothing for rent. I could not afford it the first month. I was like, how can I not afford to pay $300? So I'm struggling at the country club, trying to get more hours, you know, doing whatever I can to make it through the summer. I made it through, and I was like, I'm still stuck in this stupid city, Hattiesburg, so I'm gonna just make the best of it. So my sophomore year, I was like, I'm gonna turn my life around. I can't do what I did freshman year, just because I knew I needed to keep healing from things that had happened to me, my childhood trauma. And y'all know that's something I always tell y'all to focus on. That childhood trauma, you gotta let it go, and you gotta grow from it and heal from it, because it will chase you into the rest of your life. It will hit you up in adulthood. Like, hey, I never went anywhere because you never dealt with it. So please, that's like my biggest thing for for y'all to take away is like whatever has happened to you in your life, continue to heal along the way. Don't try to heal 40 years later, because your mindset will just keep you stuck where you're at. So anyway, my sophomore year, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do a 180. I'm gonna turn my life around. I'm gonna get involved on this campus. I'm gonna like actually like try. And I did. My 10th grade year, my sophomore year of college went really well. I was on the dean's list. I don't know. Also my freshman year, I got like a 2.6. Like my grades were suffering just because I didn't want to go to class. Again, like Shakia said, those were the, what'd you say?
That'll be the whole time.
Oh yeah. Like Shakia said, like your GPA does really, really matter. Like freshman year, all of the years, and I'm struggling with that now because I didn't like take that to heed. So anyway, I got good grades my sophomore year, and then by the time junior year out came, I was like, I'm the stuff. I'm gonna keep it PG, but I was like, I'm the stuff. Like, you know what? If I did that sophomore year, watch me junior year. So junior year, I really just showed out. Like people knew me on campus. I was that girl. Senior year came crashing down. Why? Because Lexi was trying to take care of everyone else by herself. So I got all these leadership positions. Like life was going great, and then again, I like to help people. I like to heal others. So as I heal myself, but I took on too much. And I didn't clear my plate. And I didn't talk to people about what was going on with my life. I was struggling mentally, and I waited till the last minute and I crashed. And I mean, I crashed and burned. It was like August of my senior year. I did end up graduating early, barely, but I just crashed and burned. I got involved with the law again, y'all. Didn't learn my lesson. And that time, I'm gonna be honest, it was because of drinking. So also, when you get out of your mom and dad's house or whoever's taking care of you, like be careful with alcohol, be careful with drugs. Like it's really not the pathway to go down. It might seem cool and fun for the time being, but how do you really feel when you wake up the next day? You know, like if you're gonna drink, that's cool, but be careful with it. I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. I want y'all to live life and have fun, but be responsible. When you turn 18, you're accountable for yourself, and only yourself. So yeah, but senior year crashed again, and I was just like, okay, I can't really wait to get out of this town. And then COVID hit. I couldn't. I was still freaking stuck in Hattiesburg, Mississippi. So I got a job, thankfully, before they found out about my record. My friend was working there. So it goes back to the psychology stuff. I got to be a therapist for kids who have autism. So that was really, really awesome. Just getting some experience in my field, and I'll get back into that later. But then I got to move, and now I'm living my best life. I want to tell y'all my whole story now because we are going to have some other speakers, but I'm going to get back to me. So, yeah, that's it. For now.
I'm from, well, we grew up like right there on the next street. So like, I'm from Decatur. We I don't know exactly where I was born at. Hinesville, by Savannah, ain't it? Which I just told you.
We came here because your dad was in the military.
Yeah, I know that
I was
part.
in the military. We got out. And we came here. Started over in Decatur. We got here. You were in elementary school.
I'm gonna tell y'all, let me start right there.
From
So when we got here, we was from an army base. So when we got here, the kids were bad. Like they were bad. Like we didn't cuss or anything when we got here. Like we were like sheltered. So like growing up here, y'all from Decatur, right? And like some of y'all from like Hillsborough, a little different in Hillsborough than here. Like kids attack you here. Like
We are these.
so like I wasn't used to it. So we adapted some of this stuff. Like my mama, she was a lot different then. She ain't really force nothing on us. She ain't really say too much. She just kind of let us do our thing, do right by when you're doing stuff. But she would just tell me like, kids gonna try you, someone touch you, you know what I'm saying? Beat them up. And no,
I said, don't start this shit.
she in the school system now. She wasn't in the school system. That's what she know.
But protect yourself.
Now she said beat them up. She said you better not lose. And, I went to Brookhaven in the 6th grade, and like by then we had, you know what I'm saying, we was in the neighborhood, but like we still, the way my parents taught me, like be yourself, you know, you can get influenced by things, but like when you talk right, you kind of, you know what I'm saying, you kind of know what to do in situations. But one thing people can do is put their hands on it. So like, I just learned. I learned how to.
Well, you learn to be pretty much independent. Now, we taught you all to be independent and be yourself, but one of the things that we taught most is just, be compassionate and be kind and take people for
Well,
what
they
are.
gave me a nice attitude with like morals. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of with me personally, she seen that I was a little extra in everything I did. She encouraged me more. You know, like I done art, so like she would always draw she would always give me like art pads. Like even when like she couldn't do nothing else, she'd have art pads or something for me. Like, you know, so I like making people laugh, so she would always encourage me to make folks laugh. But I knew how not to get in trouble at school, so I could do everything that everyone else did, but I never got in trouble. Like I got in trouble with like every Caven. Like,
well, Ashley, you was a really good student. You didn't get in trouble. I didn't have any trauma with you. You were pretty much always been.
I was beating kids.
You've been
so,
a free
so we
spirit your whole life.
We went to Cedar Ridge, and I found out in school it was more so like trouble made life harder. So you know what I'm saying? Like teacher telling me to shut up. She might not have had the right to say that, but you don't win that. You know what I'm saying? Kind of that's how life is. I mean, I played sports too, and we get to high school, and I wouldn't say I was passionate about sports like that, but I was good at it. So you know what I'm saying? Played. It could get you to school or whatnot, but I'm always wanted to like work for Disney. And we done sports, and
You done sports. You spent a lot of time drawing. I mean, you drew on everything. Walls.
yeah, okay, yeah, back
mattresses.
at Austin.
I mean, yeah.
I wanted to do the art thing, but I found out when you let people control your passion, they can kill it. And for some reason they didn't let me in art too. And, I mean that it kind of affected me in a way where I kind of seen what you know what I'm saying, how things go, how they pick and choose, and from then I kind of stuck with art. It was what I done on my own, and like I kind of built up my own passion for it to where no one was steering it. And like it goes to college. I was going for sports, so like I wasn't gonna go to school and do anything else. I picked art as a major. People kind of like laughed at it, you know what I'm saying? Like, but what that goes down to is when you go into college, you might want to go for something that you're gonna try to make money off of, like, period. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like people say you can go to trade school. They gotta have electives, you know what I'm saying? Just whatever because if you're in college, it's hard. Most people stop because they don't care about what they're going for anyway. And I mean, it's not hard to graduate, it's just dedication. I had like a 2.1 the whole time, 2.0, something like that. I went to military school my freshman, and I left Decatur in Mexico. She tricked me. She was like, because my grades was low in high school, you know, we had offers from like Bama and Auburn and Ole Miss and stuff, but we were just taking visits knowing I couldn't go eat chicken tenders with them. Press box, but that's another thing. Like, how old are y'all? How many years y'all got left in high school? Y'all got one more like coming up. I mean, basically, right now when you get to college, you go in with the GPA. The first year is like, which I was at a military school, so like, I got to kind of skip that. But most people fail that first year. They go in and get on academic probation easily by like the way the class is set up. You don't know like where you're starting at. When you get older, you're gonna be ready to get out, right? So like when you drop a class or you fail one, you just kind of moving what's in the front to the back. You gotta take it again, and that's your money too. Cutting to your money, it all costs money, and then you're going into I went for free, so it really didn't affect me much. But I went a year without.
Well, your dad being in the military, you were able to take advantage of state funding, you know.
Except for 1 year, they paid me for like $15,000.
Right.
And now you know, so when you wanna get in there and be serious about it because it's all a business anyway. Because you gotta make friends, like really plot with it. Like the people you see doing stuff, like it's about relationships because school alone is not, the money ain't worth just the school. You gotta get everything. You gotta find the club and stuff. And then like, I mean, as far as planning, you y'all changing so much at this age. You gonna want different things. You gonna have different fashions. You know what I'm saying? You might find you calling in college. For me, I ain't want to move back with her, so I stayed in school. Now that was really it. Like my first year in military school was horrible, but like I really didn't want to move back with this lady. And she cool and all, but like, you know, that she taught me to like get out there on my own and handle it. Then it goes down. I started more. I ain't started painting until 2013. It was like a project for like a exit exam or something. I picked the easiest one. She was like, you should try painting. So I started taking the paint classes. That's when I started making money, which people asked me to draw and paint stuff on. I never do it, so I started charging. Then seeing you can make you like a couple hundred a day off of it, you know what I'm saying? Just doing something you already like doing. It was on. And I mean, we come like where we at, people like they promote selling, you know what I'm saying, drugs or whatnot, but there's a lot more people working. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot more people doing things. I watched them knowing how they worked and stuff, but like I just applied it to things that were legal, you know what I'm saying? Like I seen folks, you know, y'all done seen folks how they say they hustle all day and night. Like I just applied to things that ain't gonna get you put in jail. Because you know what I'm saying? Like I said, it ain't really that you're scared, but it's like I like a smooth life. You know what I'm saying? I like being able to do what I want to. Once you get in trouble, it's like, you know,
It's over with.
it get complicated.
Back to
It
it.
get complicated. So for me, I mean, they kind of.
Well, I mean, you decided that you was going to be an art major. Now, of course, I encouraged it because I just thought that was one of your God-given talents, and I fully believe that money is essential, but you need to choose a career that you're going to be passionate about as well.
That's another thing.
Because the money is not
My
going
parents
to.
were. My parents.
It's not going to
they didn't
sustain
talk
you
about
mentally.
We wasn't raised to advertise. Like, I found out how important it was like not too long. We were raised, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Take care of each other, get stuff done, but we don't go out our way to get up with. You know, that you know what I'm saying? Ain't in our nature for a dollar. Because I mean, the way I see it, big bucks come like anywhere. So like, for me, when you doing stuff and you're not like, where we from here? We in the country. Folks tell you, you know what I'm saying, you get older, get your family to sit down at the house. But that ain't me. Go with it. So like.
So you went to New Mexico Military Institute, then you went to where?
Well, A&M.
Yeah, he went to A&M, then you went to.
I went to A&M. Yeah, HBCU was like everybody should try at least a year. Like, that was like the greatest thing ever. It was just like something else. Like I thought, you know, I thought it was just TV, but that was cool. I learned how to survive for real there because like you start meeting like different black people from different places. So, you know what I'm saying? It's just like folks react different. Like, you know what I'm saying? You learn how to. I went to school a year and I ain't see white people for a whole year. It was weird because like you can talk different like in class in public and stuff. And J. Cole came. Like they look out, you know what I'm saying, on the concerts, all that good stuff. But I left out of there. I went to play at UNA. I went to play for them.
Went to play football for UNA.
It was
And then
different.
you had an injury that kept you from playing your following year. So in a nutshell, he went to 2 colleges before he found the college that he really, vibed with.
I wouldn't say that.
And it was UNA.
I ain't really vibe with him, but I had moved to so many colleges. It was just
And he didn't give up. He kept going.
yeah, like going from HBCU to like a predominantly white college is different. They move different. They operate different. HBCU they care. Other colleges is cut though. Like I missed a year of football off a point, like not a grade, like a point, like a 0.9. You know what I'm saying? And but shoot, I figured if I got a degree, and
You graduated from University of North Alabama.
yeah, I graduated. I started working for Pepsi. Long story short, I got a friend named DT. They was playing with the money on commission and basically paying me what they wanted to me. Like, you're making the same thing for art. And like in my head, should be taught to work for somebody. So he was like, "No, just go make your own money." So I was like, "Bet, I'm gonna try it." It was scary, but like after I did it, shoot, it got worse because people don't really believe in you like that. But you gotta have in your head like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like with me, I'm more so headstrong and stuff and shit tell you. Like I'm more so.
So he's an entrepreneur now, even though he has a college degree, he's an entrepreneur. And the latest project was your tattooing.
Yeah. I do a bunch of stuff. I started tattooing. It's nice bad. You know? But
And that takes an apprenticeship. So it's nothing that you can just go into a shop and just say, I want to tattoo. You're under somebody.
yeah, like I was grown with kids when I had to like go months without like getting paid for something. But when you found that money coming, just kind of now a little bit. Y'all young, so like a lot of stuff to think about what you want to do. Like y'all start practicing now, and like I don't know if y'all had kids, no disrespect if anyone does, but don't. You know what I'm saying? Like just don't. Like I mean, everyone who has kids, love them is great, but like you're free if you do what you want to. You don't got to worry about no one else. You really when you have kids, you still can maneuver around, but like I tell you personally, it's like sacrifice, like on time, like it's a risk too because you might not get where you want to go. But like, don't have kids; they're expensive. And, you know what I'm saying? Like that's when people be telling you gotta go get a job because when you got kids, like you know what I'm saying. But like, yeah, just enjoy being you. Everyone's different. However you want to do it. Like I work for myself, but I got friends who they love like y'all know Ike Davis. Like I give you an example. You ain't finna tell him he don't love how he do his stuff. He go to work and he got a nice big farm, his family. He go home and he love it. You know what I'm saying? Someone like me, shoot, I'm working just as hard as him to just shoot. I wake up to. But it's all about how y'all want to do stuff. Ain't nothing wrong with working with folks. Ain't nothing wrong with working with yourself. Just do what you're gonna have to work hard at whatever. Some people fine with being a little crystal worker, you know what I'm saying? Some folks fine with that, but some folks, I was like, shoot, if I can't do a good job, no. When I was at Pep, I told my manager, I was like, man, y'all be having 5 years to move up a position. So just life, you know, it gets serious, but like have fun with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just try stuff. Like don't when you get older, you start thinking people have opinions on what you do. Y'all ain't even gonna like them no more. There's a lot of folks y'all won't even care for, y'all won't even talk to them. Y'all can so y'all might as well start right now doing what you want to, and folks will learn to admire it because they scared to be how they want to. That's about it though.
Have any questions for Rome?
Parson.
She like, I'm trying to get a tattoo.
Yeah, I have one tattoo.
How old are you? You know, one of you folks. State protocol.
And a funny story, he's tatted up, but of course, you know, at 17, you have to have a parent signature. And I told Jerome and his brothers, I said, I would never sign for a tattoo, ever. And so I think his 18th birthday, I don't know if it was the next day or the same day, he got tatted. But, you know, like I said, Brianna, I've known her for years, and I'm so excited that you all are doing this program because, I mean, a lot of you all that's going into where they are now, you don't know. And the more information you can get about where you're going, the better you'll be. So it's a phenomenal program that you all have started. You know, as far as Jerome, like I said, he's always been a free spirit since he was a little boy. And, you know, if it's in you, you can't let other adults, you know, kind of create your path, you know, and parents are going to be parents because they want the best for you, you know. But at the same time, you're the one, it's your life. It's your life. It's your life. And of course, we want you all to have a 9-to-5 with benefits, 401k. I mean, every good parent can take that. But if you're truly an artist,
like they did that so we can kind of rock out.
Yeah. Well, if you're truly an artist, whether it's art, whether music, or you're not gonna, what is it? You can't put a square peg inside of a circle. Is that what it is? It's not gonna fit, you know. So my only advice is, while you're young, this is the time, especially when you don't have any responsibilities, this is the time to grow. This is the time to do what you want to do, because you're gonna have life responsibilities, roadblocks, you know. Once you start having other people that you gotta sacrifice for, it's really hard to get what you want. You know, and then you got so many people who, even as adults, they sacrifice, you know, their dreams, because, you know, hey, everybody has a gift and a talent, but they had to have that 9 to 5 to pay the bills, you know. And after you do that 9 to 5, those 12-hour shifts, you don't have much left, you know, to try to pursue your dream. So this is the time to do it. It's either now or never, for real. Because once you get older, you know, like
I be telling her, she still, it ain't never, she still, like, she got a lot more she gonna do. You know what I'm saying?
Well, of course, I'm not saying because when you're older, you can't pursue your dreams.
It get
I'm just
harder,
saying, as a young person, this is the time where you can actually, you know, create your own blueprint.
Don't have kids.
You can create your blueprint, not somebody else. You don't need Miss White's blueprint. You create your own blueprint, okay? You don't need mine. You need your own.
And
Okay?
one more thing, like, I always was myself, like, as far as coaching and stuff, like, I don't let people touch it. Like, I never let no one touch it. Like, so I'm from here, so like, I act like us. Like, no matter where we go, like, shoot, at UNA, talking to the mayor, I make sure I don't switch up. You ain't gotta act like. I mean, if you want them jobs, I guess you gotta act how they tell you that. But at the same time, you go in, you build you something up to where they want you to. Like any situation you go in, whatever job you want to work at, start working at it now. You can walk in a penguin outfit if you want to. All right, because you know what I'm saying. That's how the world goes. It's really about leverage. Sometimes you gotta act a certain way and stuff, but you can work on, like, that's what I work on. Like, if I want to act how I want to, do what I want to when I want to, I gotta work real hard. You know? Different people get, you know what I'm saying, different leeway. That's just how it go. So I'd rather just fight with some leverage.
I'm gonna let you young people go, but I will leave you with this. Don't be afraid to get out the box. When I say the box is your little comfort zone of Decatur, Decatur, Trinity, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to say, you know, I want to be an actor. I mean, I'm just gonna be honest with you. You want to be an actor, you want to get up there where you need to go as a musician. And I know we're in a kind of technology type of world right now where everything is at your fingertips. But you gotta go where it's happening. You definitely got to go where it's happening at, and you got to sacrifice to get to that place. I mean, every person that I've known that's in Hollywood, that person in entertainment, they had to do some serious sacrifice, like sleeping in a car, living with 5 or 6 people because everybody can't afford to rent in New York City, so everybody's paying like $300 a piece, waiting tables. I mean, for those people who really want to pursue those type of careers in acting and music and art and those things, it's not gonna happen.
She's still trying to get me.
I'm just being honest with you. I'm not saying it can't happen here, but more than likely, it's gonna take you to get out of your comfort zone to be able to pursue your dreams. You know, even if it's just Nashville, even if it's Birmingham, you got to go where it's happening at.
I'll be out
You
of
have
town,
to go.
she'll be like, stay.
Go where it's happening at. And I'm telling you, I love Decatur and I love the surrounding areas, but as a young person, y'all got some serious gifts and talents. Don't let this small town mentality pull you down. And people here, they have a heart to go, but they still got that small town mentality.
Get away from them for a little bit.
You know what I'm saying? They still got the small town mentality, you know, where they can't grasp the concept that somebody here can be a millionaire, somebody here can be a superstar, somebody here can get an Academy Award, somebody here can be the biggest musician. You know, it's hard for them to see that because they haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So I just leave you with this. Just really go for the gusto. go for the good stuff. And you won't be a middle-aged person saying, dang, I wish I had done it. Dang, why didn't I take that opportunity? Dang, I got 3 or 4 kids now. I gotta work at this plant now. Because we got bills to pay. You know, I can't make them move. But you know, it's all good because, you know, even with those people or whoever it is, you know, life is still good, I'm sure. But you only get a moment to actually live your dream. So.
Oh, yeah, all right, one more.
Yeah.
Don't tie yourself down to college. Like, you was taught a certain way, you're gonna get around people who was taught different. Don't experiment with stuff. Like, keep it, like, you know what I'm saying? Have some pride in where you're from and how they taught you. It's like, I've seen folks get to college and like try crack. It's crazy.
Bye.
Right, y'all?
Born and raised in Decatur. Just a little bit about my childhood. Like my parents, like they raised me well. I ain't complaining. I say that humbly, but yeah, they raised me well as far as like treating other people how I want to be treated. So I always grew up like with the mindset of like trying to help other people, trying to make sure everybody is straight. And so I'm a skill all the way to high school. So in high school, well, my senior year, I was very selfish because it was like, dang, I gotta get somewhere. Like everybody, like, you know, you gotta go to college, you gotta do this. I was playing sports, I was playing football, and I didn't start football until my senior year. So it was like in my head, like, all right, I really gotta focus in. Like I gotta get a scholarship. I'm trying to go play D1 level. So my whole senior year, like I'm being selfish as far as like on the football field and off the football field, and like focusing on myself. Like if I'm doing my job, I'm gonna get to where I want to go. So I just kept that mindset, and now that I think about it, it's just like that's not the mindset I should have had because like I was focusing in on the wrong things, focusing in like rather than trying to get my team together and just myself, focusing on the girl that I didn't want to talk about. It wasn't that bad, but it was like a waste of time. I feel like because I could have been focusing on more things. So skipping after football season, you know, still not getting no offers, still ain't hearing from any coaches. So I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna just wait it out. All right, skipping to the next semester of my senior year, still ain't hearing nothing until I heard from Huntington College down in Montgomery, right? Down in Montgomery, Huntington College, they hit me up, went on a visit. It was okay, like it wasn't too much. It was like in my head, I was like, I don't want to play no D3. I also don't want to be in Alabama. And then I heard from this junior college all the way up to Minnesota, the northern part of Minnesota. So from being raised and born in Alabama, going all the way up to top of the country. So I did take that opportunity to go to Minnesota. That's where I met Brandon, who y'all spoke today. So I just felt like that was like a real culture shock to see the difference from like where I was born and raised and seeing like something different. I met a lot of people. I met some good people. I met families that actually took care of me. So transitioning through that whole process, like I still didn't know what I wanted to do in life as far as college. Like I was just going to school just because, and then I was playing football up there. So mine still set on football. So first couple weeks of football, got hurt my knee. So I'm just like, damn. Like I didn't really know what to expect, but I've never had a severe injury in my life for me to like either not be able to play for a whole season. Like I had to sit out that whole season on my first year of college. So I sat out that whole season still trying to debate like, do I still want to be here? Like, do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Like, I don't know what I want to do. So I just strived it out, tried to get my knee better. So the following year, like I mean, it was rolling. Like I was doing pretty good. And then like I heard it tweaked it again, so like it caused me to like kind of faint down, like as far as my performance, so I wasn't able to do as much. So I didn't have any other scholarships. I didn't hear from any other colleges. But luckily, like throughout my second semester of my college, my sophomore year, I had a cousin who went to Baker University, this is in Kansas. I was like, hey man, like tell your coach, like, you know, look at my film, all this and that. So I sent that to him probably like 2 days later. He was like, yeah, I like him. Like send me his email, all this and that. We can get information shit up. He gonna come. Like, all right, okay. But I ain't really played that much like my second year because like I was still iffy about my knee. So when I get there, still don't know what I want to do. I knew I wanted to do social work. but I was trying to major in sociology because like social work, I thought it was gonna be the same thing. But when I got there, they were saying like, no, you need to go do like psychology and take a social minor. So I did that, and still focusing on football. I get there, like I'm doing good, like coaches liking me, they feeling like the way I play, they're like, oh, you got a chance to start all this and that. All right, so okay, good. I'm telling my peoples, I'm telling my family, like they liking me, like I'm coming up here and I'm showing up. And then probably like a couple weeks in the camp, hurt my knee again. I'm like, man, I don't know. And then like I kind of fell back and they was like, man, you okay? Like your performance, like you went down a little bit. I was like, yeah, I just took my knee a little bit, so I'll be all right. Yeah. It kind of like held me back like for most of the season. Then I played one game and I went up for a ball, came down, boom, pop. So I like sat there. I'm like, this might be the one right here. So after that, I got my MRI. Say it was ACL, so I had to sit the rest of that season. And basically through my whole first year of college, like I'm injury prone. I'm sitting here trying to get recovered through this whole first year at my new school. So, and it like also affected my grades. So it's just like I ain't trying to go through the whole thing. I'm trying to get this real quick. It kind of like affected my grades and stuff. Like I wasn't really focused on my grades because like I'm sitting here worried and stressed and like depressed about my knee being hurt because I'm not able to play. But I stuck to it, kept fighting, got better. All right, boom, coming the next season. So I had to retake some classes because of my grades. So restarting my junior year in 2019. So I come back, boom, feeling good, feeling great. Knee feeling good, like I had surgery, all this and that, recovered, feeling well. Coach is like, okay, you looking good, Mike. Like, keep it up, keep it up, keep it up. You got a potential chance of starting. I'm like, all right, okay, bet. Season going, like I'm busting my butt and working hard, like knowing all the plays, all this and that, like not complaining and not getting the reps that I wanted to, but obviously they didn't see like what I had in me because of my past injury, so they didn't want to like see what I had to offer. So I ain't really complaining. I just kept going, and I just feel like that moment really like humbled me because like in high school, like I ain't gonna say I was the best player, but I did what I had to do. But transitioning into college, like there's always gonna be somebody better or as good as you. So it really humbled me to like like football really wasn't everything. So I focused a little bit more on my grades, focused a little bit more like on what I wanted to do in life, talking to my advisors, like going into the office. That's the one thing. You go to college, please talk to your professors, your advisors. They will help you out. And if you continue to talk to them, it shows them that you care and that you want to succeed in life. And they saw that in me. So like whenever I had a problem, they'll like, ask me if I needed anything, like I'll go talk to them, all this and that. So my last 2 years at Baker, I didn't really play as much as I wanted to. I played a lot of special teams. I mean, I wasn't really tripping. Everybody's like, man, you should be playing. Like, you better than that dude, that dude. I'm like, okay, but I'm trying to get my degree to go because honestly, football ain't my motive no more. Like, I'm trying to get going, use my degree, all this. So after football ended, well, okay, COVID hit. My senior year, going into my senior year, COVID hit. So everything virtual kind of affected my grades, like just that transition, everything virtual through my first semester, then that second semester, kind of picked it up because we had a whole full season of football through that fall and that spring. I've never had that happen before. Like a full season, I'm talking meetings, games, practices. So I'm thinking I'm gonna have a free semester, like my whole second half of my senior year, but that wasn't able to happen. So I had to like go through that season. We ended up losing second round of the playoffs. So after that, I have to like hurry up and get my internship hours in. So I was able to get that throughout the last 4 or 5 weeks, and it actually like boosted me up as far as confidence. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. Football over. I can focus on that. Got that done. Okay, great. finals coming up. I'm like, oof, got like papers, got like exams. So I was able to get that done. Boom, walked across the stage. Thankfully, this past May. Thank God for that list. But got an email about 2 weeks after graduation. I was like, yeah, like can't send you your degree yet because like you were short 0.02 from your major GPA. I'm like, huh? Like, why didn't y'all tell me this before that I could, do something, a little something better? I was like, well, we're just not seeing this, all this and this. So you can either retake a class this summer, or write a letter to the committee. So I'm like, okay, what I'm gonna do is write this letter. Hopefully I get back in time to see if I will get it. So I didn't tell my mom about that. I don't worry about it. But yeah, so I did get that in. They emailed me back probably a couple weeks ago. So I just had to fill out some thing on like the financial student aid or something like that, and like just to ensure that I wasn't enrolled in any more classes. So they passed me for that. I'm still waiting on my degree. So really, the moral to my journey, like everything ain't what you're gonna expect. Like whatever you think about, it's not always up to your expectations. There's always gonna be different paths, different obstacles in your path. As far as like what you want to do, like you said, you keep changing like what you want to do as far as writing and stuff like that. You want to do criminology and what was the other one? You said you want to be a barber. You ain't got too many decisions, but like still stuff can still change in between that path from now to then. So this program is really like y'all heard the other speakers, like they didn't have the easiest path. Like, everything ain't just gonna be perfect, smooth road. So this program really just for us to show y'all that like everything not perfect. Show y'all that like, we here for y'all. We have other people that's here for y'all, like providing y'all with those proper resources. So if you do get stuck, like you know where to go. If I didn't have the proper resources, like talking to my advisors, talking to different people, meeting new people at that, I don't know, I honestly don't know where I'd be. If I didn't move from Alabama, I don't know where I'd be. So that's just a little background on me and my journey. So yeah.
Great, Michael, if you don't mind hooking that back up, and I'm gonna finish mine. I told y'all I'd be back, and I'm back. Just to tie in kind of what everyone has said, I think there's been an overall theme of today. Get out of Decatur. If it's for a week, if it's for a couple months, like go somewhere else. It's fine if you come back, but you need to see what's in the world. Like I have a friend, she in high school had this big map on her wall and it was of the world and she put a dot on Decatur and she was like, that's Decatur and this is the world and I have to go see what's in the world, and that's what she's doing right now. So back to me, we ended on my senior year being trash, me being stuck in Hattiesburg and all of that. So back to the thing about like getting in trouble as an adult, like again, after you turn 18, mine was for drinking, y'all. Like it wasn't even like, I'm thinking like, oh, it's not that bad. Like, and they told me the school, and it was like from the school officers, and they communicated with the HPD or the Hattiesburg Police Department, whatever. They were like, oh, this is gonna affect you later. We'll take some of it off, but we won't take all of it off. And guess what? I'm still facing that consequence. I have like a public drunk thing on my record because I went to a party and it got shut down and I was just outside, whatever. So to this day, because I haven't got it removed from my record, I can't even work with like elementary kids because of that. And like I applied to be a substitute teacher. I live in Texas now, y'all know that. I applied to be a substitute teacher out there, denied because of that. So that's why I said when I got that therapy job in Hattiesburg, I was grateful even though I was stuck there because they like let me come in anyway. It wasn't on my record just yet. So it's just like a lot of adult things that people don't really like speak about. You do have a youthful offense. So if something happens to like one time, use your youthful offense. Hear me now. If anything ever happens, for real, guess what? Y'all are students of color. Okay, your white counterparts have life a lot different than you do. Just being straight up. And like what Shakia was saying, but she didn't want to straight up say it. Being in high school, we realized that. We saw that there would be teachers who would tell them about opportunities, tell them about things. And just because we were in the know with the white kids, we knew what was going on. I saw so many of my friends not get the same opportunities because we just were in different friend groups. Melanie, the first speaker, Melanie was one of them. It wasn't until her senior year she realized, hey, I can be in student council. All you have to do is fill out a paper. And then she filled that out. Guess what? Melanie thrived in high school. She became the president of her sorority. She was a student orientation leader because she let all that high school stuff go and chose to be on her own path. So it's really great that y'all are getting to hear this as you enter your senior year. I really want to encourage y'all to be who you are now. Start now. Like, you don't have to wait till you leave Decatur. You don't have to wait till you graduate, because I promise you, after you switch the tassel on your cap and you graduate, none of that matters. Like, none of the people matter. Like, when I come back to Decatur, like, people who used to bully me, I'm like, why was I scared of you? Or like, why did I care about your opinion of me? Like, I'm doing so much better than you in life right now, you know? Like, because like in high school, it's easy to like think about, oh, what are people gonna think about me? What if I post this? Or what if I wear this to school? No, be you and stay true to that in your job, in college, and no matter what you go through. So, again, it's okay to make mistakes. I've made plenty of mistakes. People think, they look at me and they be like, dang, Lexi's like got it going on. She's gonna get her PhD, like all this. Like, yeah, I am, but I've also had a really crappy like life of like choices I made and things that were done to me. But again, if you stay on your healing journey, like you can still prosper. So I want to speak on some of those college things. If y'all do plan to go to college, like that low GPA stuff and like those points being away from graduating, just remember things like that. Like, be in touch with your professors, like Michael said. There was a couple of professors, because again, obviously I talk, but I'm actually like an introvert. I be chilling at home. But in class, you know, I'm gonna talk to who I need to talk to get where I need to get in life. Someone told me it's about who you know, not what you know, and I was like, man, that don't make no sense. As a 23-year-old, it makes a lot of sense because I've got connections based on talking, not because of what it says about me on paper. And so, for example, I had a class, I had like a B or something in that class. I was really trying to get an A, and I had a couple assignments I didn't turn in. You know what I'm talking about? It's the last day to turn in assignments. I run to her office. I'm like, hey, Miss Slager, like, can I please turn this in? She was like, Lexi, like, I have 30 minutes to turn your grades in. Go to the library, finish it, and come back. Guess what? I got an A in that class because she was cool with me. I knew about her life. She knew about mine because I went to her office hours. So even in the professional world, Dante, you want to be a barber, you know, talk to the best barbers in Decatur. Talk to the barbers around the world. Like, if you don't make connections, you can't really grow outside of what you already know. You don't know what you don't know. Let's see, and again, keep your mental health in check the whole way through, or try to, you know, there's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with going to counseling, especially if you come from messed up families too, y'all. Like, you gotta take care of your mental health. It's very, very, very important. So fast forward to where I am in life now. So after life crashed in December of my senior year, I decided like the titles don't matter to me. I don't care if I was like leaders in these organizations, like none of that matters. Like, Lexi matters, and I'm gonna take care of her, and that's what I started to do. It's still struggle, of course, but every day I choose myself again. And so now I'm an entrepreneur. I work on psychology research. So if you're interested in that or anything, y'all already know, whatever you're interested in, we're here to help. But so I work on psychology research, and I was doing it for free. And then guess what? They were like, Lexi, you work so hard. We're going to pay you. And I was like, yeah, thank you. I deserve to be paid. So also don't speak up. If you are ever like doing something for a long period of time, you can ask like, yo, can I get compensated for this? Which just means that they're going to pay you for your work. And now me and Michael are doing this nonprofit, and we really wanted to make it bigger than what it is now. Like, this is already huge. We have 8 students, and I'm so proud of y'all for just taking this initiative and using this resource and being able to talk to real people about real life. Because, you know, in high school, even in sex ed, y'all know we already went over that, but they don't tell you what's really real. They don't tell you about finances, about credit, about healthcare, about any of that stuff. And then you're 25 with a broken arm, and you don't know that when you leave the emergency room, you're gonna have a $10,000 bill on your credit. Like, that's real stuff. So that's really it. Also, enjoy your summers. So during summer, like, I know a lot of y'all work hard. Like, again, when I was at Crystal's, I was putting in 40, 50 hours a week. So I understand y'all, but enjoy your youth. Like, you really won't get this time again. And that's something else I didn't understand. I'm like, why y'all keep telling me that? I can't wait to be grown. No, enjoy your youth. If you do go to school, enjoy your summers, do internships, like travel, like do what you can now, because when, like Ms. White said, like if you're older and you're working a 9 to 5, guess what? They give you 2 weeks off with pay for a year, 365 days, 2 weeks. You used to get a whole summer off, you know. But if you do choose the entrepreneur lifestyle, you have a little more flexibility with that. But yeah, that's about it. Do y'all have any questions for Lexi? No? Cool, great. So now we're gonna talk a little more into detail about, let's see, y'all know we always do our quotes. So I'm gonna put some quotes up, and now it's y'all's time to talk. Y'all done heard people talk all day long. What you guys say, Michael?
I was just gonna read it.
Okay, so we're gonna go over these quotes, and we want to hear from y'all what y'all learned today. What are y'all thinking? What's on your mind?
All right.
You can leave.
I'll
This
read
one
off
goes
the
to Dr.
first quote. So the first quote we got: a job is how you make money. A career is how you make your mark. A calling is how you acknowledge a higher vision, whatever it may be. So y'all can let that sink in. You think about it. Y'all can comment. You want to start, Nancy?
I think about this quote is very realistic, especially with the careers, how you make your mark. Because with the job, you can just make money but not be fulfilled with that job. But when you have a career and you're set and passionate about that career, you make your own mark within that career. You make a mark within whoever is nearby you. If you have kids or your family members or any of that, and a calling is what it does right there.
Very good. I like that.
So I think that calling is how you my vision, like spoke to me more because as you get older and you become more content with yourself, you realize what you like to do, what you're passionate for. And I think that's the way, you know, that's why I was like, I wanna make money, so I wanna get on and get to the But then as I get older, I'm like, I want to be happy. I don't want that to take away my life. So really, I feel like my calling is stuff like kind of what you guys do too. I talk about psychology as well because I like knowing why people are the way they are, why they do things they do, like if their mother, you know, their dad affects how they act. So I think that really makes me a calling.
Nancy, what you got?
The job making money. For me, I work 2 jobs together. A career is really career too, because I want to be able to rely on making money. So doing something that I love instead of going to like, you know, fast food job or something like that. A calling to me is like telling people what I know, what I learned from it, like what I know in life, like helping out others and what they need.
Touch you on anything? Like you want to say something, Ken?
Listening to them.
But yeah, that's good. Like obviously, job is how you make money just to get your bills paid, just to, you know, get by. But are you happy doing that job? But sorry, like y'all was saying, like career, like it's something y'all passionate about, like something that y'all like actually enjoy doing while making money instead of just doing it and being, you know, suffering from any type of pain, any type of like stress just because you don't want to do it.
Y'all hit it all. We'll get to the next one. Because y'all know we'll talk later anyway, so. Choose a career you love and you never have to go to work again.
I always feel like we were talking the other day, and I said I don't like working. Like I don't like going to work. Only reason why I like school is because I like being nice to people. That's it. You know, everybody's nice. I like the environment. So I was literally like, there's so many things you could do in a day that to take work. I do not like it at all, but I do like going places like with my friends and, you know, also saving up money, like buying on cars and stuff like that. I was like, if I actually get to do something that I love, that'll be way better. I actually do more motivated, but it's like I'd rather go to the park and walk.
but I still go to work. So.
I'm the same way. Like every day, it's like I'm always on. Like I basically do everything. So and you know from experience, the grill is the hottest part. I hate working. People come through ordering all these burgers. I gotta make it. Have people want from this station, so I gotta go through and argue with the manager.
You'll chase them on everywhere.
I just hate doing it. Like some days, like I'll have to work, and I'll just be like, I ain't going to work. I just don't show up, and they won't write me up or nothing because like I'm literally like one of the best people they got. So like right now, I ain't been to work in the past like 2 weeks because of the injury right now. But still, like they struggle without me being there. But I'm just like sooner or later, I'm gonna have to leave because my extra job that I love doing. So I end up taking over. If I make more money at home than going up to cookout working 20, 30 hours a week, slaving for my paycheck one day.
Learning that down.
I mean, I get paid.
You ain't going over there.
Like in cookout, I'm getting paid $11.50, but it's just like for all the like for like all the work that I do, it's just like it's not enough for me.
Yeah.
Like maybe $8 difference. So like, what do I get? Better, but you still gotta work. Like, yeah, it feels like $11.50 is the new $7.25 because I still have to work so much.
Yeah.
Got anything to touch on that, Monte?
Yes.
I was gonna say, also having the perception of being like, oh, I have to go to work. It's not like when you have a career that you love, you're gonna be like, you're not gonna think of it as work because of the perception of having that mentality of being like, oh, I hate work. I don't like the word work is associated sometimes with negative feelings, negative connotations. So when you have a career that you love, you're not gonna think of it as work. You're gonna think of it as something else, like the career, not work. And you're gonna be like, that I have to go to work. It's your career. Yeah, wake up and love your job. Who in the back wakes up and loves what they do in life? Right now. Okay, see, these are the people y'all need to follow. For real, back to what I was saying earlier, when I saw this 40-year-old hating their job, like, I was like, bro, I'm not gonna be like you. Like, for 40 years, you done hated life. Like, that sucks. Like, that sucks, you know? Like, you should love your life. So a career in, really the quote normally is, choose a job you love, you'll never have to work. But I purposely put this quote because I don't want you to feel like it's a job either. We put negative connotations to jobs too. Like, oh, I don't want to go work that job. I don't want to do this. A career is something you're building up and you're always working towards. Your career is something you have for your whole life. A job, you can retire from a job. A career, that's your whole who you are. You know, like after you graduate high school, unless you just got somebody who's going to be taking care of you, throwing you money, you're going to have to compensate yourself somehow with money. Like you're going to have to make money some way. And so why not choose a career and something you love to do every day, you enjoy doing, that also pays you and provides you with food and whatnot. The other quote is stuck behind this one, so we already did that. Let me see if y'all can see it now. Oh no. It's okay. I'll move it around. Here we go. All right. Can y'all see that one? Can I get a yes? Wait. Oh no, y'all can't. Okay, we can just delete that one. We already talked about it. No, the other students need to see it. Okay. Oh, how do you? I should know how to put it back on the thing. Slide. Okay. Where? Oh, present. I'm so okay. Let's do it. Okay. Bro. See, it's really okay not to have your life together. I promise you. So many of the professionals I've met, so many people who have doctor in front of their names. I come into meetings and they a hot mess, just like me. And me and Joy were talking about this today. That's why I don't care, and I'm always gonna be myself because you'll send a long email to your professor talking about life or like I'm a good student, I need to do this and need to do that, and they'll hit you back like, okay, like you should still be professional in your emails, but it's just interesting. Like everyone, like we're all people here. Okay, you can read this one, Michael.
It takes courage to grow up and become who you really are.
That's the comments. Guy in the back want to speak on it? I don't know if you heard Brandon earlier, but he said the thing about raising his hand in class. I don't know if y'all were in here yet, but he said like he missed out on $10,000 because he didn't raise his hand and speak when he had something to say. So drop your jewel.
Wow, let's say something. Really fast.
She's like, I want this.
Well, I grew up in Costa Rica. So it's a really small country, like really, really small, third world country. So, well, that quote is really true because you really have to sacrifice a lot of stuff to get where you want to be. I had to sacrifice family. I'm the only one in the United States, so it takes a lot to get where you want to be.
And I'm really glad you're here actually because again about leaving home, like you'll meet people on their pathway, you'll meet people from different continents, people from different countries, and like Rome was saying, we all grow up a little differently. Like so it's interesting to talk to people and see, you know, ask them how did you get here? That's what we really wanted to do today. So y'all get your people's pathway, like how did you wind up in life where you are now and where are you going? So yeah, thanks for sharing. Anybody else?
I feel like as I get older, I start to become like who I am and not who my friends are. Like I remember like a year ago, I've always known that I'm gonna do something in life. Like mom always told me, you know, speaking life to me. And I was like, okay, well, everybody, I'm 16, 17. Everybody around my age, like the parents, so they're having their own lash businesses and doing hair and selling like bonnets and you know all that stuff. And I was like, okay, so I can do it. Like I know I can manage it. So I was like kind of trying to do that. And then I realized I wasn't putting any effort into it because I didn't care about it. So then I was like, okay, I don't like that. I don't like buying the Jordans. I don't like doing any of that stuff. I don't, you know. Then I started realizing what I did like, writing books and reading encouragement and listening to music. So like that was me. And I was like, well, I don't have to do like that. But then I'm forcing something that's not there. I feel better now myself.
Right. You don't have to live life faking it through. That's the thing about like high school. I'm telling you, you feel so like it's necessary to be like the people around you, or like don't ever look at somebody else's path because you never know what they're going through to get there. As long as you follow your goals and you stay true to yourself, like your path will follow you along the way. Dante, Matthew.
I was gonna also say, with her talking about friends and friend groups, it also takes courage to grow up from that. And you might feel a little bit scared because you're not used to having new friends or having no friends at all. But it takes courage to grow up and grow away from that and be yourself because sometimes those friend groups, certain people will hold you back and be very negative towards what you want to do and what you aspire to be. So it really does take a lot of courage and trying new things to see who you really are.
Going off that, your circle, like look and see who's around you. Do you want to be like those people, or are you like, I don't really like what you're doing in life? If it's the second one, you probably got some new friends. Dante got people.
I mean, just to touch on that, like, see, I went all the way up to Minnesota. Like, I would have never thought I went to Minnesota ever in my life. I'm just like a go with the flow type of person. Like for anything I do, like I can trust and believe that I will be okay. Because like the way I was brought up, like the way I am. Like, I ain't saying I got everything perfect. I graduated with a psychology. I did graduate in 2016. I graduated with a psychology degree. But I'm not using it right now. Like right now, I'm working at the Toyota plant. Like just building my money up. Like you don't have to have everything, you know, set in stone right now. Like y'all are young. I mean, I done seen like from when we graduated to y'all, like everybody like so busy and like running around, like y'all's mind is just everywhere. Then from us compared to like our parents and stuff, like they so set on like money and bills. You know, I was just talking to my mom like a couple months ago. Like she works at the same plant I work at right now, and she hates it. I ain't gonna say she hates it, but she don't want to like work there for the rest of her life. So I'm like, you might as well like what do you like to do? She was like, well, I want to start my own boutique, like a baby boutique. I said, well, you should do that. She was like, I don't know. I was like, Mom, like you gonna be in this plant hurting, you know, just growing old because you want to pay these bills. But a baby boutique, everybody having babies. Like babies ain't gonna never stop coming. So that's a business that can like really grow, like you set your mind to it. So I'm like really trying to encourage her to do that. But she's trying to like see if she can retire first before she starts. I'm like, you will never start if you don't start, you know. So just a little encouragement on that, like it ain't never too late, like Ron's mom was saying. So
Great. All right, so now we're gonna talk a little bit about like college, like what is college? So